Welcome to That Money Lady podcast, where we spill the tea and talk about it because there are so many different pieces of being a business owner. And the most critical piece, which is finances, we don't have open, honest discussions about that in our society to set you up for success. So, for my beautiful peace warriors of the world, this is for you. Information provided in this video is not a substitute for professional financial services or legal advice. This is for educational purposes only. The graceful penny is not responsible for actions users take based on the contents provided. Always seek professional help regarding your unique situation and business needs. Music provided by the beautiful Sonal Madani. Hello, and welcome back to That Money Lady. I'm Audrey, and I am so glad that you're here nerding out and figuring out your numbers. So, all month, we've been talking about getting rooted in financial clarity. And today's episode might just be the one that connects the dots in a whole new way because we're talking about something that's both practical and deeply personal because you can't grow what's out of alignment. If your numbers are feeling a bit foggy or unclear, if your systems are clunky and chaotic, or maybe something in your business just feels that bit off, this is your permission slip to pause and listen. So let's get into it, my friends. So, what does alignment even mean? Alignment is one of those buzzwords going on right now that gets tossed around a lot. But here's how I define it in the context of money and business. Alignment means your decisions, your financial, strategic, and operational are in sync with your values, your energy, and your goals. It means your pricing reflects your worth, your offers reflect your zone of genius, and your numbers are a match for what you're building, not just what you're inheriting. We see that playing full out right now in our government here in the US is people are just being handed things and destroying them. And we don't want that. We're here to build something with integrity and from our chest and from our heart and build it with integrity and in alignment with what is best for the whole. So when something is out of alignment, it can show up as always feeling like you're behind. It can also show up as in resenting what you're putting out into the world with either your products or services. And that's one that I see a lot. And it's easy to get into that rabbit hole. It is, again, this is not a judge or a shame area. It's just an awareness because if you're starting to resent what you're doing, something is wrong. Something in the pyramid or the matrix of what you have going on isn't right. And this is your sign to start leaning in to peeling back the layers and understanding what that is. And I will say with that, sometimes as you're peeling back the layers, you take a new step and it might not be the full right step. You're like, okay, this is what I think is what the right step is. And you take it and you learn something that shows that that wasn't the right step. In many different ways, it can show up as not the right step. That's okay. You learn that that wasn't the right step in whatever way that comes out as. And that's okay. As business owners, we're expected to be like, I took a step and it's going to always be the right step. And I am a business owner. So now I know everything. That's just not true. So this is your permission to take that step. Sometimes it's going to be the wrong step and that's okay. It's about learning what that best next step is for you. For me, I can know what the wrong step is. I might not be able to articulate if I'm like, okay, but I know this isn't right. And it's just about doing my best to be as clear as I possibly can to understand what that next step is. And I have to just take those steps to understand that. And everybody's different in what that looks like. And it's just about being empowered to stand in your power with what that looks like and that understanding is for you. Another thing that shows up as misalignment or out of alignment is you're making really good money, but still feel financially stuck. That one's also a bad thing or one of those flags, and also not paying yourself consistently. The other one is feeling unclear or indecisive around what's next. There is no clear plan. It's not something that you're just winging it. You're just like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And one thing I do know about entrepreneurs, though, is you guys are that beautiful creative aspect of our world. You are out there to do that next cool thing and not necessarily make a plan. You're just here to sprout and grow. And the more you lean into that bit more of the strategic and finding systems that genuinely work with you, that don't feel that constraint because a lot of creatives feel that constraint when you bring in that more structure. And I totally understand that. This isn't about diminishing your creativity or your genius. It's about creating a solid foundation and structure so that you can have those beautiful creative inspirations and going with it with integrity and with a solid foundation. So, all of that to say, here's the kicker. You can't build a business that feels good on top of numbers that don't reflect the truth. So, that's again the systems and the structure, getting the systems and the structure in place so you can have these beautiful creative blooms and branches and sparks of life with your genius. So, how misalignment shows up in the numbers. Sometimes we try to fix surface level things like productivity, marketing, or time management. Been there, rock that. But when reality, the problem is structural. So, a few examples. One, your pricing isn't supporting your needs. You're undercharging and your numbers are confirming it. Or you're offering too many things and it's hard to track what's working or what is bringing in the money in alignment with also what the costs are showing. Your expenses don't match your current goals. Maybe they used to serve you, or that subscription used to be very supportive, but now it's just holding you back and costing you money. So when I work with clients in the early stages of the Root to Rise process, we always look at these kinds of misalignments first, because if the foundation doesn't feel solid, adding more is just not the answer, my friend. The solution is realignment. And that's what starts to tell the truth. When you start asking, is what I'm building actually in support of the life that I want to live? And that's a hard one to start stepping into, especially when you've built something to where you're at. And generally, that means you're the steward of holding other people's finances too, because you are paying your contractors or your employees. And so pivoting does take that intentional understanding of that next step. And that's where the planning and the structure does come in, because it's also very important to be in integrity with that you are the leader and you're leading humans who rely on that income stream. And it doesn't mean you do not make that pivot, not at all. It's just that you have to be very intentional and understanding and ethical and in integrity with your next step. And that does take the planning piece. Now, let's talk about the realignment in financial strategy. And I want to reframe something for you here. So, realignment is not soft or fluffy concept. It's a powerful business move. It just takes that strategy and that understanding and that clarity of that next step. And again, it's okay if you don't understand what that next step is, but being in alignment with all of these different pieces, depending on where you are at in your business. Realignment helps you focus your energy on what's actually profitable. You can clean up your offers or systems that no longer fit. Another thing that realignment helps you with is setting goals that are sustainable and satisfying. That's important. You put a lot of time, energy, effort into your business. It's important that it supports you and satisfies you in what you're trying to bring to the world. Here's also a big thing. When you realign, your strategy becomes clearer, decisions feel more natural, and money starts to flow more easily, not because you hustled harder, but because your structure finally fits. And that's very exciting. So, since you're here, I know you know how important clarity is for your decision making. And you can only find clarity when you have grounded view of what's really happening with your eyes wide open and your beautiful head out of that sand. So clarity empowers your intuition. It activates your vision and lets your nervous system relax into trust. So this is the work of growth, my friend. So if you've been doing all the right things, but something still feels off, I want you to know it's not you. It might just be time to shift into a season of realignment. This is exactly what we focus on in the Root to Rise framework. It's about clearing the noise, tidying up the systems, and creating a business that finally feels like it fits. If you're craving that kind of clarity, I'd love to help you. You can find more details in the show notes or head to www.thegracefulpenny.com. Next week, we're switching gears into the systems that work for you, systems that support you. We'll talk about building systems that feel natural, not draining, and how your structure can actually support you and your creativity and growth. But for now, if something feels off in your numbers or your flow, don't ignore it, my friend. It's a nudge. That nudge is there for a reason. So thanks for being here. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.
Information provided in this video is not a substitute for professional financial services or legal advice. This is for educational purposes only. The Graceful Penny is not responsible for actions users take based on the contents provided. Always seek professional help regarding your unique situation and business needs. Music provided by the beautiful Sonali Matani.